Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Oh, yes! God! How glorious this is! This is the most excited I've been about anything pertaining to the Chicago Bears, probably since the Khalil Mack trade, and this has me even way more pumped than that. Because what has happened today, what has transpired over these past few hours, what the final outcome is, represents what can be a potentially transformative moment for the Chicago Bears organization. And that is not hyperbole to say. Even coming into Sunday afternoon here, I was really on pins and needles. I was more nervous about this today than I was when the Bears played in Super Bowl 41. Because I always knew they were going to lose that one because they were going to find a way to screw it up, and Rex Grossman sucked and he was the quarterback, so you knew it had to be. Probably the most nervous I've been since the NFC Championship game at Soldier Field against the Green Bay Packers. That's how much I was on pins and needles today. That badly. Because you knew there could be a couple of different outcomes. The Chicago Bears could once and for all prove just how stupid Bears football could be. And a parting shot from Ted Phillips as his tenure as team president finally comes to a fucking end was that the Bears would win and then end up with the third or fourth overall pick and screw everything the fuck up. And deep, deep down, no matter how much Bears fans tried to convince themselves, there was no way they were going to beat the Vikings today. No way this team of scrubs was going to get that job done. You knew deep, 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 deep down in the cackles of your heart and soul that there was always a chance because, again, we are talking about Bears football. And it would be just like them to screw the pooch at the moment of opportune time to finish the damn deal. It does no good to protect the tank and then screw it all up with a win in Week 18. Or the Bears lose, but the Texans lose, and the Bears, at least if nothing else, solidified themselves with the second overall pick, which is still a really huge deal because it gives them premium draft position in round one, puts them in a position to potentially peel back once, if not multiple times, dealing with quarterback desperate teams. It's a really good spot to be. But then there's that idealistic, almost utopian situation. If the Chicago Bears lose and Lovie Smith shows that he loves Chicago more than Houston and leads the Houston Texans to goddamn victory over stupid Saturday and the dumbass Indianapolis Colts, the Bears would be the owners of the number one overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. And yes, any doubt was eliminated relatively early by the Chicago Bears in terms of holding up their end of the bargain. I mean, you're already starting Nathan Peterman. And even though you could say, hey, Nathan Peterman in the first quarter had as many passing yards as Justin Fields had in some first halves of games this season, does that mean anything to you? Just calling it out. You figured eventually the general lack of talent of the Bears would win out and the commitment by the Bears coaching staff. And at this point in time, folks, you better hope it's a commitment by the Bears coaching staff to tank and not being totally and completely incompetent. We'll give a belief that it was a commitment to the tank versus the other, although I don't know. The other is a pretty good option. It's a pretty good belief that that could be the case. But you look at when the Bears are down 16-0, man, you're feeling great. You're like, yes, the Vikings are taking this seriously. The Bears suck. They're going to make sure they leave no doubt. They're going to get the job done. But then Velus Jones Jr., a guy who's been instrumental in the tank, whose fumbles have led to several losses this season, decides he wants to make a spectacular play. And it's like, damn it, yes, no, don't do it now. Only for the Bears to, on the extra point, when they're down 10, mind you, 16-6, Instead of trying to make it a one-score game when you're a 3-13 team, they're going to kick the extra point and keep it a two-score game. That is protecting the tank. That is a commitment to the vision, the dream, the ultimate reality. But then Patrick Peterson has to jump fucking off sides. And you're like, no, damn it! Matt Eberflus saw Velus Jones make this spectacular play and he said, up yours, Velus. We're going to kick the extra point. But no, now the Bears have an obligation. They got to go for two. And then they drew up some bullshit. And of course, they convert the 2-point conversion. I said, yeah. Eberflus and Gutless Gutsy, put him up. Anybody can try to score for two. We're not going to do it. We want to keep it a two-score game. They came through time after time after time in this game. Anytime the Bears get a little bit of offensive momentum with Nathan Peterman, here comes Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle! Because we want to evaluate him and get some looks. My ass. We all know what's up there. And I'm happy to see it. Because Tim Boyle made sure. I'm going to throw it to an open guy. And it's even a bonus if it's somebody in a Minnesota Vikings jersey. I love it! And the Chicago Bears ultimately got their part of the job done. They lose to the Minnesota Vikings 29-13. Good luck to Minnesota on the early playoff exit. Now Bears fans had to sit and wait. The Texans were up double digits in the first half against the Colts. And you're thinking, wow, this could happen. Like, the dream could become a reality. And then you remember Lovie Smith for years epitomized Bears football. And you knew somehow, some way, he was going to keep it going, try to win this game. But then in the second half, here come the Colts because Jeff Saturday, apparently not realizing, hey, winning this game for your team actually hurts you in two ways because it solidifies the Texans with the number 1 overall pick and hurts the Colts draft position potentially. That's not a smart thing to do. So of course, we're talking about the Colts, not a smart organization. That's exactly what they tried to do. And then you look and it's late in the fourth quarter and the Colts are up 7. And Bears fans are like, it was nice to think about it. It was a nice dream to have. But it's going to be the number 2 pick. And then magic happened. And the Texans made magic happen. Davis Mills to Jordan Akins, touchdown! All of a sudden the Texans are within 1. And they said, no, we're not playing for a tie to go into overtime. We're not leaving anything to chance. It's either win it or lose it right here. So with about 50 seconds to go, here are the Texans down 1, going for 2, and Jordan Akins fucking comes through! And now the Houston Texans have a 32-31 lead over the Indianapolis Colts with about 50 seconds to go. And Bears fans are sitting there with crossed fingers, with crossed toes, with clenched sphincter holes, hoping that the Houston Texans defense could hold off the Indianapolis Colts, not let them get into field goal position. And that's what happened! The Houston Texans win! Lovie Smith with the greatest gift he could ever give to the Chicago Bears. A Houston Texans victory combined with the Chicago Bears loss. Meaning that, folks, ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bears are officially on the clock for the 2023 NFL Draft. Let the knuckle babies fly, people! And I'm serious. I can't remember the last time I was this pumped and this excited about Bears football. They've got the number 1 overall pick in the NFL Draft for the first time since 1947. Harry Truman was the president of the United States last time that happened, for God's sakes. 1947! That's how long ago we're talking about here. It's unprecedented territory for the Bears. They are the kingmakers in April's draft. They're in position to create a contender for years. That's what this means. It's amazing. And I personally feel some responsibility, some obligation to pay that kindness and forward to the Houston Texans, and specifically the big hero late in that game, Jordan Akins. If anybody can find for me Jordan Aiken's favorite charity, his philanthropic efforts, his charitable causes, and send that my way. I think Bears fans should repay Jordan Akins for what he just did and what this means for the Chicago Bears. They should be on this shit like the Packers were years ago, if you remember with Nathan Poole, the Arizona Cardinals, when they knocked the Vikings out. That's what we should be on. Let's donate to Jordan Aiken's favorite charity in the amount of how much you ask? Let's go $21. And you say, that's such an odd number. Why the hell would you do that? Because $21 signifies the Chicago Bears, because of the Houston Texans winning, moving from number 2 to number 1 in the draft. So somebody get on that. Find me Jordan Aiken's favorite charity. I'll donate $21 to it. And I hope all Bears fans follow in kind. Now, there's going to be a lot of discussion about a lot of things over the next few months for the Chicago Bears. But right now, it doesn't matter because the dream that we've held on to for so long has finally happened. The Chicago Bears finally got a take, right? They finally have the number 1 pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. And it feels so good. Yeah, 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 yeah.